Today we are going to discuss about the difference between the a prior versus frequent pattern. We have two algorithms to identify the frequent item sets or generating the association rules with help of the a priori and frequent items, frequent pattern. What is the difference between these two? Why we should move for the frequent pattern concept? Let's see. Before going to that, we have to know what are the various factors which are involved to complexity of the AR rules. Let's see, the first one is support count, minimum support count. How it affects or increase the complexity of the any rule. Suppose if you are having very huge threshold value, then we cannot find the frequent item set. So generally we are trying to identify a moderate minimum support count. Based on that, we are going to identify the frequent item set. Suppose the minimum support count is very less, the threshold is very less. What will happen whenever it is very less, the chance of occurrence of the items or frequent items are more. It leads to the more number of scannings we required. So whenever we are lowering the frequent items support count, threshold support count, then obviously many number of candidate keys are generated. So complexity increases. Another is dimensionality. Nothing but the number of items. In the transaction table, if there are a large number of items are available or more items available in a given transactional data set, then what will happen? We need a more space to store the support of each item. If the number of frequent items all increases, both the computation, that means whenever more items, obviously there is a chance of more frequent items available. Whenever more frequency increases, obviously there is a increase in the cost of input-output cost increases. That means number of scans in a database or transaction database, reading and writing input-output cost also increases. Size of database. Another important is size. Since a prior makes a multiple passes, we know that a prior algorithm is a number of scans we require. If size of database increases, what will happen? Runtime of algorithm may increase because a prior algorithm need a more scans. So database size increase it, the chance of multiple scans, multiple times of running of algorithm may increase based on the number of transactions. So these are three important key factors affecting the complexity. First one is the threshold support count. If the support count is too low, more number of frequent items more occurs. If it is too high, there is no chance of getting the frequent item or a very few chance. That's why we have to choose the moderate value of the minimum support count. Whenever if it is low, number of candidate keys are increases. It leads to the more tedious work. Second important parameter is dimensionality. Nothing but the number of items in a transactional data set. If more number of data or items are available in a data set, we need a more space to store the support count of each item. At the same time, whenever the more items, then automatically computational activity like input-output operations are increased. The cost also increases. Input-output cost also increases. Another one is the third parameter is the size of database. If the size of database high, what will happen? Runtime of your prior algorithm is increases with the number of transactions. So whenever we have more transactions, the prior makes we know that a prior need a more multiple passes. So number of scans are increases. It leads to the complexity of your association rule mining. Now let's see a prior algorithm. We know that how a prior algorithm will works. A simple flow diagram. First, what we are going to do is we are going to take a transactional database. From that, we are going to generate a LK or LK item set. All the list of items in a transactional database. From that, we are going to generate candidate key. What we are going to do? We are going to generate candidate key. That means first we are going to generate the LK item set, all items in the transactional database, then generate the candidate key. It leads to the large database. Suppose here L of 1 nothing but the single item. And after candidate key, then automatically 2 items in a item set, increasing. And third candidate key again increasing 3 items. Like the size of the item set is increasing, pass to pass. Finally, we will get the relevant items. Now, see what will happen while generating the candidate key. We are going to do the joining and pruning operation. Joining nothing but the joining L1 with the L1 or L1 with the L2. Join. Again, we are going to apply the prune operation. Pruning nothing but the eliminating the infrequent items. Means the item set which are not having the or not satisfying the minimum support count, minimum threshold value. Those are eliminated. Again, second time also we are going to do the same. Joining and pruning. What was the disadvantage of this one? So, disadvantage is, if this data size is increasing or number of transactions increasing, the costly handling of large number of candidate sets. Whenever we are having the more number of item sets in a transaction database, we have to generate here only one item, here two items, here three items, here four. Like number of items are increasing, obviously candidates item sets are increasing. Cost of the generation of the candidate items are increasing. Another disadvantage is we have to do the more number of scans, because each time we need to find out the support count for each item or item set. Initially in L1, what we have single item, we know the support count, so we can able to do the pruning operation. But it's coming to the second time, again after generating the candidate key, again we have to identify the or we have to do the scanning to identify the support count for the two items which is generated under the candidate key C2. And third time, again we need to do the scanning, we need to identify the support count for the third item set. That means repeatedly scanning database and check the candidate pattern. So that is the main drawback. We are going to do the lot of scan operations for find out the support count at each time. First time, second time, third time, like each time we are going to find out the support count and for the each candidate sets. To overcome that, we go with the FP, frequent pattern growth or frequent pattern tree. Why we go with this means, here it's very faster than the previous algorithm, that is a prior algorithm, and also tree traversal. We need a only one time scanning and there is no candidate key generation or candidate key set test like a prior algorithm. In a prior algorithm, what we are doing, we are going to generate a candidate key, then apply the pruning. But in case again second time, again candidate key, again apply the joining and pruning. So those operations we doesn't need. Only one scan to identify the support count of each item. So no candidate key generation, no candidate test. Then we have a data structure in compact structure. As earlier discussion, the representation of the data set with the various binary representations like horizontal or vertical, zeros and ones. And most advantage is we are going to eliminate repeated database scans. We are going to eliminate the more number of repeated database scans. It leads to the reducing most of the IO operations. We are going to do the only one time scanning to find out the support count of each item. Then we are going to do the tree construction. That is the main advantage. And here a simple counting operation, that is like 1 plus 1 counting of the occurrence of the item. So we are never go with the any tedious process. That is the advantage of the FP or frequent pattern growth concept compared to the prior. So what is the advantage is only one scan we required, less chance of generation of candidate key and no more repetitions of the database scannings. That is advantage of the FP compared to the prior. Okay. Hope you got to understand the concept. The difference between the prior and FP growth concept. In a prior, we need a multiple number of scans for each and every transactions, and whenever we have number of transactions increases or number of items are increases, we need a more scans based on the number of candidate key generations. The cost of the IO operations increases. Whereas FP growth, only one scan, only one time we are going to scan, and with that support count we are going to construct a tree, and with the tree we are going to simple basic operation like counting operation to identify the support count for the remaining item sets. This is what the major difference between the a priori and FE growth algorithm. We are going for the FE grow algorithm to minimize the complexity. And we have to remember one key point. Whenever you may get a question like write algorithm based on the candidate key generation. The candidate key will be generated in the a priori algorithm. Write algorithm and explain with example without candidate key generation. Nothing but the FE growth algorithm. Because in FE growth, we are never generate the candidate key. That is the major difference in end examination. Okay. Thank you.